Hi, I'm Jeff Sidek, designer of Battlestations DIRTSIDE.
And I'm Joey Vigor. I'm the producer of DIRTSIDE. So we're going to do a video about threats. We're going to knock these out real quick because there's like 14 or 15 threats. And threats are the thing that's going to try to stop you from succeeding in the mission.
Yes, they are actively engaged in trying to harm you.
They're controlled by the game itself.
Yes.
It's a cooperative game.
Yes, it's a pretty simple AI, if you want to call it that, a flow chart of what they do. But generally, the most common threat is grunts. And grunts are angry people who found a blaster and want to stop you. And
right. So it's like if you're walking down the street, there might be sort of the local populace is just sort of ignoring you, just like anytime you go to a planet.
Or they're hiding and cowering. They're not actually saying, oh, let's get him.
Grunts are the locals that have decided to take up arms against you for whatever reason. You know, it might say in the plot description of the mission, or there might just be angry grunts who don't like outsiders.
Yes.
Xenophobes.
Yes.
The beginning of the mission will explain what the threat's going to be, and then some missions are random, and you can also replay missions with different threats and sort of see what that mission feels like with a different threat. If you're going to do a random mission, then there's actually a way to roll dice, and you look at a chart and you see which threat it's going to be. During mission setup, you set up the actual grunt spawning
evenly
portals.
Spaced around the outside of the board, and if you have 3 grunts showing up, you throw 3 dice, and they go 5, 5, 6. So I get 2 grunts at 5 and 1 grunt at 6.
Right, and grunt spawning is based on the mission difficulty, so you know the better your crew and
right, the more grunts you have. So in a early mission for a low-ranking crew, you're only going to get 1 or 2 grunts walking in each.
It'll be quite easy.
But
and then,
by the time you're rank 7, then you're going to have just piles and piles of these guys coming in ready to kill you.
Right, and all these threats, by the way, escalate. So over each round, things get harder as well.
Things get.
Now, in addition to grunts spawning and coming to get you, there's other types of grunts, right? There's motor gangs, which are basically grunts that drive vehicles.
Yes.
Hordes are basically grunts, but they only have 1 hit point. They're really stupid.
Right.
And there's twice as many of them.
Yes.
There's also villains, which are not grunts. Those are much more sophisticated.
Right. They have professions,
villains.
and they're going to follow a slightly different flowchart where they're still trying to hurt you. But if there is a scientist there, he might be trying to heal his co-workers as opposed to just mindlessly attacking.
Right, and villains, while they don't have special abilities, they do have professions, and
they'll be equipped slightly different.
They have better
weapons.
There's a chart. So those are grunts and villains. There's also personalities, which we will just mention. Those are basically villains that start with the sort of unused character cards, the starter cards.
The starter character cards.
Right. So like you might have a Blution, which is like a bubbleoid villain, and he's actually got a special ability because he's like a personality. He's you know, he's like a guy. Okay, so now we've got some things in the sky. So we've got drones, and we've got
drones are essentially flying
cannon installations, right?
Blam, blam, blam.
Okay, so cannons target individual characters.
Yeah.
But
they
missiles
pick a random hero to target.
Okay. The missiles target
a random hero, but they drift. When you hit the space, then they
deal damage to everyone in the space.
So,
okay, got it.
And this is important for any kind of threat, any kind of ship's weapon, which includes fighters, drones, installation, cannon installations, teleport installations, ship's cannons. All of those things will deal 3 dice of personal damage to some poor guy who's out in the open, or it'll cause a broken marker and a survival check to any vehicle or building there. Or it'll do ship's weapon damage.
And if it rolls
to
a 6, you could break a bot that was there too.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, and then what about villains that are piloting ships?
Yep. So that is
just a regular ship flying around. It's circling the planet here.
Yes, and it's in there, and it's going to be raining heck upon you.
Yeah. Now, unlike drones or fighters, which go too fast to catch up to, we actually could theoretically, it might be difficult, we could theoretically go up with jetpacks or wings or whatever,
or jet bike up
to wings. And try to break in and try to stop the ship, because it's sort of like a low, not an orbit, like a circling, like an airship circling, raining terror down on us. Let me see. We've also got offboard missiles, which you just mentioned.
Yep. Natural disasters. There's
fire, lava, earthquakes, and global destruction.
So lava starts at one end of the board and just
moves
every
one
phase.
row of spaces across. Yep, and turns to lava anything that's there before. And is lava? I assume you can't there's nothing that can walk on lava.
No, anything can walk on lava. You just take a die of fire damage every phase you're touching it, and so it's you can't walk on it for very long.
Okay, but hover vehicles can hover over it?
Yes, you can fly over it.
Okay, and then let me see. Fire is just like you'd imagine. It spreads fire using the drift dice.
Using the drift dice, the same drift. I like to recycle mechanics like that.
Well, it's called being consistent and intuitive rules. Earthquakes.
Earthquakes. So earthquakes, a random board's going to have all the buildings on that board make a survival check, and the people in it take damage.
So buildings can collapse, turn into craters. And global destruction.
So global destruction is when at the end of the first phase you roll a die, and if it comes up 6, the world comes to an end. At the end of the second phase, you roll 2 dice. If either of them comes up a 6, the world ends. Mm-hmm. And those dice, of course, are luckable. So nothing's really happening except for your luck is ticking away. And eventually,
any of the players can spend their luck to address it, but at some point it's like we're all going to run out of luck. So we might not destroy the planet, but suddenly normal, simple skill checks start to fail.
Yes, because you say,
or I'll be driving like a car, and it's like, okay, I'm not going to crash into this building. I got plenty. I'm out of luck.
Right.
And then you just crash. That sounds like fun. And eventually, it's just going to happen. We're just going to have to get out. So that's great.
Yeah, it's a good idea to leave the planet at some point.
Oh, very good. That's I think 15 different threats that can happen.
Yeah,
and some missions have multiple threats, and they pile on every round, and it gets crazier and crazier. So that can get really fun, and like I said, you could play the same missions again and again with
different threats and
different personalities.
And it's not always just things coming in to shoot you. There's things coming in from the sky. There's fire. There's the world ending. It's good stuff.
It's really fun. Yeah. So one thing I really like about this game is just how I don't know if dynamic is the right word, but just how different each mission is. And I had a mission where all I had to do was pick up a barrel and move it to my ship and leave. Should be simple, except the barrel is right next to the lava flow.
Right.
Or the barrel is being bombarded, or there's 18 grunts.
Yeah, coming after you.
Okay, so that's the threats. And how do they escalate one more time?
At the end of each round, you get a new threat.
Ooh. No matter which mission it is, the mission will start with a threat, and then you'll get a...
Some missions will say there's no escalation. Some will say there is escalation. And some particular threats, such as grunt spawning, at the end of each round, the number of grunts that spawn climbs up. So it's like the mission difficulty climbs. So you really want to get out of it.
You want to get in your ship, fill it full of your stuff, maybe take a jet bike on the way out, right? No one's looking.
And get out of there.
Get out of town. And that is the threats for DIRTSIDE.